Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Bull TV studio in Arlington, Texas for the 2021 USBC Masters. My name is Aaron Smith. Thank you for joining us here. C Squad, our final squad of the day, getting ready for their practice session on our 40-foot condition being used this week. We're going to talk a bunch about the Masters. We're going to watch some bowling. It's going to be a good time. We've already been here for two squads. We've had some great guests. We've chatted about a lot of cool things, bowling related, Masters related, Reno related, whatever it may be. But we got one more in tune for you here. And of course, one more giveaway as well on bowltv.com. You can only get it on bowltv.com, folks. So be sure to set up your login and get that squared away. You can see 8 channels, 9 total, including this commentary channel available for viewing. But before we get into the practice session for C Squad, let's bring in Matt Cannizzaro. He's been with us all day today. He's going to be here all week with us. Matt, welcome back, C Squad. Let's go.
Let's go again. Great players. Looking forward to seeing who we have coming out here tonight. A lot of great storylines, and we've covered many, and we'll cover more. Can't wait.
All right, and joining us once again, we got Mike Flanagan. Let's bring in Mike as well as we get to the bowling. Michael, good evening.
Hey, how's it going? JT and I kind of split up here a little bit. We'll be able to hear each other a little bit better. So just me right here. And JT, I believe, is standing by at the podium.
Let's do it. Let's get nuts here. Jason Thomas.
All right. I saw the viewership drop by 50 just by adding me onto the show. But no, I appreciate you guys bringing me on. I am not sure how many ball reps we're going to get again, because the work is piling up as the day goes on. So now they've got to deal with all the A squad bowlers stuff and requests, and now B squad bowlers, but they've also got to watch their C squad bowlers, and then they've got to turn around, get all the C squad stuff done, and then be back here, at the crack of dawn tomorrow for actual scores to be written down.
Well, they certainly have a major task in front of them this week. Of course, those guys always working hard, working long hours, making sure their bowlers are ready to go. So big shout out to all the ball reps. So when they do talk to us, folks, definitely appreciate those moments. They're working hard out there. We're going to go to the lanes here as well. Take a quick look at 45 and 46 as C Squad gets underway. Third time we've got to see this pattern of 40 feet in length. The big number, though, 30 mils, 30 plus on the mils. So a lot of volume out there. So that's kind of been the talk of the town so far with everyone we've talked to. For Mike and Jason, since you guys are on site there at the NBS, just any new rumblings you've been able to hear from ball reps from players about this week's condition for the Masters?
Yeah, I did have a conversation with Stu Williams, and he said it seemed like the second squad hit them a little better than the first squad, which, obviously there's no scores being thrown out there. But he said just his sense watching that group was they had it dialed in, slightly better than A squad. And, that could be just because the players on B had a chance to watch A and try some different things and maybe get a few little good pieces of advice from their ball reps to kind of narrow down the best way to tackle this pattern. But it didn't seem like as much carnage to Stu's eyes that second practice session as it did the first.
So, JT, just to point out, the players aren't able to be there to watch the other squads compete, right? They're depending on us and our coverage for them to be able to get a look at what's happening and all of our terrific, valuable insight to
they're in big trouble.
They're
no, but you're right. They can't be in the building. In fact, as soon as they finish their squad, their practice, they only have 30 minutes to vacate the building. So that was why it was difficult to get, an interview at the end of that last squad, because the players are all rushing around trying to figure out if they need to drill balls and then get their equipment all in order and have everything perfect so that when they show up tomorrow, they don't have to do a bunch of stuff. prior, because they can't go in the building less than an hour before their starting squad time.
All very interesting dynamics there as we're settling in here. Once again, it's going to be 3 20-minute sessions. Players will stay on this pair before they move on to the next one. If you've been watching all along, it's going to follow the same suit. So Michael, for you, just kind of any impressions you got from the field out there in between blocks?
Well, shout out to Missy Cotterman in the chat saying hello to me. Hello, Missy, as we have an interactive chat. Thanks for the shout out. Secondarily, I went down to the most recognizable bowler in the bowling center, Jason Belmonte, and I asked him that very question. I said, "Hey, Jason, you've been watching our coverage, getting a feel for what the lanes are going to do?" And he looked right at me and said, "No, I haven't, Mike. I've been relaxing, but my ball reps tell me that that they're pretty tough out here." And then he goes, "But I'm crossing with AJ Johnson." And I'm excited to cross with AJ Johnson because the last time AJ Johnson and I bowled on the same pair in the Masters, AJ Johnson gifted me the game and threw the bowling ball out of the back of the building. And AJ Johnson was within earshot and proceeded to tell me that, and Belmo and everybody else standing around, the 4 or 5 people, that AJ Johnson has beaten Belmo in every match in match play. He's undefeated against them, which I don't know if that's, I'm not going to fact check that. But so Belmo hasn't been watching our coverage, but he looks good. He's in a black and red jersey today, and I'm wearing black and red, which is kind of cool. And he's down like towards the end pair. So if anybody wants to watch Belmo practice and turn off our commentary or bring it up on a second screen, he's down all the way at the high end, which JT, what pairs are those?
71 and 2 is the last pair that we have in coverage. Would it be fair to say that you guys have your Sith Happens attire on?
Yeah, I think it would.
Little Star Wars reference there.
But other than that, more of what JT was talking about. Just they're really, really hard. Tim Mack said that speed control, out of all the things that happen with a bowler, whether if it's accuracy, making the right bowling ball choices, being accurate, he thinks this week speed control is number 1.
There we go. Some good stuff, guys. We appreciate the reports from the Taj Mahal of 10 pins, of course, in the National Bowling Stadium, Reno, Nevada. Mike, you look comfortable as always. Making JT stand. I like it.
Actually, speaking of JT and Matt, earlier I snubbed JT because I talked about how much weight Matt has lost and how awesome he's doing in life. But JT has also done just as well, and I have not. So that's why JT's standing right now, because he's, healthier, and I'm sitting here in this like couch-like thing here, where I can just kind of kick it, right? But there will be a time this week where I'm standing all day, just so I can feel what it's like to be nutritional and fit.
Well, Michael, if you guys were real ballers, you would have gotten the massage chairs that I know are probably out already for the women's championships. Now that would be a big time move for this upcoming couple of weeks.
Hey, buddy. You say massage, I'm in.
And with that, taking a look at our featured pair right now. Once again, I know a few folks asked Belmo kind of within range over on our 69 to 72 channel on Bowl TV. You can check that out. Once again, the navigation, if you're on desktop or a laptop, is below the video. If you're on a mobile device, you are in the top right-hand corner. You can click on the 4-box window pane. That'll bring you to the channel navigation, and you'll see all the big red buttons that say live. You can click on one of those, 69 to 72. You can catch a little bit of that. Taking a look at our current pair, an interesting group. We got some young players. We got one guy who's a little bit older, who I know very well personally. We got a past collegiate player as well. So Matt Kuba and Nick Pate, both young players on the PBA Tour, joined by Justin O'Shaughnessy as well. Justin O'Shaughnessy as well, the principal from his days at Robert Morris, Illinois. Always enjoyed watching him compete in collegiate events. Past Junior Team USA member, and then a good buddy of mine, John Riffle, and a past teammate of Matt Cannizzaro's at the Open Championships as well. John is coming up on 50 or at 50, so he's potentially preparing for some senior events, but has bowled the Masters a couple of times. So it's great to see John out there repping the region. So that's kind of who we're watching right now, seeing how they're attacking this 40-foot condition. Once again, 30 mils. And a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm watching Jacob Buttriff. He's in front of me on 49 and 50 right now, and have not seen him miss yet. So that's probably of interest.
Well, he does like them when they're a little bit tougher, right? So he's it's right up his alley this week.
And Terrence Stacy asks what squad Spencer Robars was bowling. And he is bowling on this squad. I actually said hi to him just prior to the start of the practice session. So he's someone we'll be able to watch here this evening at some point during the practice session.
Let's go ahead and take a look at Jacob here. And he didn't strike on that one, JT. We are black clouding even in this situation.
I know.
When he goes up for the next shot, just look at how much slimmer he is. I mean, you can really tell the difference.
Yeah, looks good.
No, you could definitely tell that even from just at the quick glance. He's looking trim. He's looking fit. So, and Matt, I know you had the opportunity to talk to Jacob. We mentioned this a little bit earlier in the first edition, but it seems like he's really focusing on the future. And I'm pretty excited to see what, he's referenced 2019, Jacob, a couple of times. And he won this event in 2019. So pretty excited to see what his return visit is going to be like here to the Masters.
I talked to him as well, and these guys that are automatically seeded into the bracket because they're a defending champion. Those of you at home that don't know that's what happens here. He told me he's going to treat it as 15 games of practice. I mean, that was his quote to me, which a lot of times these guys do that, But I would imagine there's a 97.5% chance that Jacob's going to be using urethane outside. So that's just more of the same with him.
Yeah, and Belmo, when he went on his run and won it 3 years in a row, I remember after he won it that first year, we kind of asked him the same question. Are you going to be treating it as practice? And he went out and dominated and led the whole field in qualifying, and just sent a giant message to the whole field that, yeah, I'm not messing around this week, guys. And it'd be interesting to see if Jacob comes out and kind of does the same thing. I mean, there really isn't much, Jacob, there's not a wide range of things that he typically likes to do, right? I mean, it's like he's going to throw urethane and he's going to, use his touch. And so my guess is if he has any semblance of a good look, he's going to put up, a pretty good effort here in qualifying. And if he goes out and leads qualifying, that sends a pretty substantial message to the rest of the field that, he's the defending champion. And if you're going to want to win this tournament, you're going to have to take it from me.
Hey, guys, I got to ask the obvious question here that everybody's probably wondering at home. Who's the guy that's finishing on the wrong foot on 49 here?
Does it say it on the scoreboards up there, Mike?
Not. Oh, yeah, I guess
it does.
All right. Well, we know it's not Hunnelman or Eubanks. So,
I mean, he is consistent with this right foot slide for a right-handed bowler. I am fascinated by watching this.
Well, Mike, it sounds like an excellent slow motion opportunity for you a little bit later this week.
Yeah.
See what I did there?
Yeah. Yeah, you gave me work on the air. You gave me a task item.
There was a bowler in the Northwest region who they used to call Switchfoot, and I think they still do call him that. His name, I can't remember his last name. I remember his first name is Rob.
Sounds like a 90s band.
Yeah, Switchfoot. Yeah, I used to listen to Switchfoot all the time. But no, very similar style where it looks like he's going to slide on the wrong foot, and then he delivers the ball and then slides after the ball's gone. So it's very unique. He does get out of it nice.
I know. I think we're getting an answer here. Rob Edwards.
Edwards. Yeah.
From PNW. What are those
Zach.
initials?
Thanks, Zach.
What is PNW?
That's Pacific Northwest.
Thank you, guys.
You're
I
right
was trying to think that it was like an airport letter symbol, and I'm like, Portland.
Yeah, and Rob Edwards was good, man. He threw it great.
And we got some comments in the chat. That is Michael Mirabelli. I hope I'm saying that right.
Mirabelli.
I believe he actually bowled collegiately for St. John's the past couple of years, so has some collegiate bowling experience, and so we'll get to see him put that to good use here at the Masters. Obviously, we talked a little bit about the excitement of a Nick Hoagland pattern, and collegiate bowlers are often tested throughout the course of the year. Nick runs a ton of great tournaments, mostly throughout the Midwest, but the Hoosier Classic, always a big one on the ticket for folks. And then looking ahead to sectionals and the ITCs and ISCs, really gives the collegiate players an opportunity to kind of experience some of the tricks that Nick likes to put into a pattern to make you think, keep you on your toes, and all that. So we'll get to see how Michael handles that throughout the course of the week.
I'm just amazed at how well his balance is. He stays down until the ball hits the pins, finishing on the opposite foot.
Yeah, that shot by Jacob there just shows you how not easy they are. When was the last time Jacob missed the head pin to the right?
Mr. Cannizzaro, in your talkings with Jacob prior to the start of this event for the preview article, once again, folks, you can find that on bowl.com. What were your big takeaways from just his demeanor? Obviously, we talked about the success he's shown so far this year, but we've gotten to know this young man pretty well over the course of the past few years. What was different about him in just talking to him this time?
Well, I mean, there's been times over the last 5 years where he just wasn't himself. You could tell in his demeanor and the way he was talking about himself and his game. And I think that sometimes correlates to maybe when he's not bowling so well. Some people handle things differently, and we're used to seeing him succeed. And of course, when we travel the world and get to be with these players at all times, it's not always going to be gravy for them, right? So sometimes there's going to be a bad day, and it's how you handle those moments. But there seemed to have been a handful of those moments happening, and it just wasn't the same guy. And then he started, as he said, making bad decisions, doing poorly nutritionally, and not going to the gym, and all those things kind of added up. Put a lot of pressure on himself at the U.S. Open after 2 great years, leading the field by hundreds and hundreds of pins and coming up short. And just expectations were unrealistic, and went out. And the next U.S. Open he bowled, he got hurt, had to drop out, then he didn't make the cut. So those are eye-opening experiences when you're used to bowling so well, and then sometimes things don't go as well. You have to learn from those. Sometimes you learn more from the losses than you do from the victory. So putting all that together, and again, the things that he was dealing with at home with his mom, and her battle coming to an end, and him realizing that this was an opportunity to go in 2 directions, and he wanted to go in the one that would make her the most proud. So all of those things motivated him to get back on the right track, and that's where he is now. And we'll see how well he can keep it up. And we know he's trying hard at the gym, and he's trying hard in the kitchen, and it's definitely showing on the lanes. And let's continue that momentum.
Excellent stuff there, Matt. As we wrap up this first first 20-minute session, getting pretty close to wrapping that up here. Just a reminder, folks, we know we're running on 3 spots right now, bulltv.com. That's where you can access all the channels that we have going right now, with cameras basically behind lanes 39 through 72 at the stadium. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, we certainly appreciate you joining us. We encourage you to go check out bulltv.com. If you want to make a login, it just takes a couple of minutes, and that'll give you an opportunity a little bit later in this broadcast to take home an Amazon Echo Dot. We're going to give away one to one lucky viewer. So be on the lookout for that. We'll talk about it. We'll give you some heads up. But go see what bulltv.com is all about. Once we hit qualifying tomorrow morning, starting at, we got some new squad times here. It's 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 local time in Reno. That will require a subscription. We have a different couple options for you, starting from $8.95 all the way, if you want to go big time, to an annual subscription, $79.95. So a few different options for you. But we certainly hope you check out bulltv.com. Set up that login just to check it out. We do events like this here and there throughout the course of the year where that's all you need. So have it in your back pocket, have it ready to go. That's what we're doing over here. So you guys could hear the announcements. We're going to be making moves here. So to Mike and JT, as players start making their way over here, let us know who you want to see for this next 20-minute block.
Well, I know the fans want to see Belmo. We're going to get, looks like, an opportunity to watch Spencer Robarge, who we talked about on our last set as one of the amateur picks. I think he was my pick, right? Wasn't he mine?
He was.
Yeah,
yes.
he's yours.
Yeah. I took Spencer.
You have
So, he's going to be on 39 and 40.
40, okay.
So he's interesting to watch. There was a question in the chat about any women bowling, and the answer is yes. On that same pair, Rocio Restrepo will be practicing with Spencer, so we can watch both of them. Maria Jose Rodriguez is bowling also, but she's on a different squad. That's another question in the chat.
Yeah, earlier today we had 4 PWBA bowlers on A squad. You can go back and watch the archives after this broadcast.
All right. I like 39-40. I like the mix up there, Rocio and Spencer. It's a good combo. I'm in for this. I love this play. Excited to be part of it.
Is Rocio's boyfriend Joe Hostetler bowling as well?
Husband, yes.
That's what I meant.
He is correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, you guys are so good. But see, I get confused because she hasn't changed her last name. She's keeping her last name, so I forget that they're married. That's what I'm going to chalk that one up to, you guys.
That is the way of the Colombians. Also, the same with Clara.
Yeah, because the reason why I asked that question is I saw her and her husband are here together, and they don't often get the opportunity when she's competing on the PWBA tour to be together. And will that comfort, and will that because they're here together, will that make her perform better just because she's here with someone instead of out here by herself during these crazy times?
It's a good question. I know, what's interesting to think about also is, her husband Joe just graduated from he's becoming a pharmacist, and now he's doing his residency, but he's graduated. And is, obviously there's still a lot of work to be done when you're doing your residency, but he said he will actually have some more time to bowl, and he was quite a good bowler himself. So this might be the start of him, coming out and bowling a few more events. And so that's something to watch for as well. How will he bowl? With having Rossi here, and they're such a cute couple. I've run into them like 3 or 4 times over the course of the last couple of days, and they're always holding hands. And
I wasn't going there, JT, but that's what I've observed as well.
Yep. So I'm sure if her boyfriend saw them holding hands, he'd be pretty upset.
Now, guys, we talked earlier. About players in the field, and JT has a love affair with Chris Barnes. We've already established this. and I mentioned Norm Duke.
20 minutes of practice.
I'm going to tell you guys, it's been about 7 or 8 tour stops. Norm Duke has just walked right by me, hasn't looked at me, hasn't waved, hasn't done anything, okay? He just looked at me, waved at me twice, got my attention, gave me a little wink. What does that mean, guys? What does that mean? It means Norm's here to play.
I like that. Mike, you have a history of having these little moments that turn into people having success. That happened once or twice at the PWBA Kickoff Classic. So I am not going to take this lightly whatsoever, and I am on full Norm Duke watch now.
And Norm just struck. He's bowling on 47 and 48 for those of you that want to open up a separate browser. That's one of the benefits of being on Bowl TV, and you can watch him bowl right now.
And you know who else we get to watch bowl?
It's my guy.
Smith. There he is.
My pick,
There's Aaron's
Cameron
pick.
Crowe, rocking the red, white, and blue for Team USA and Junior Team USA in 21. So very cool. We got Spencer. We got Cameron. Got Rocio.
It's a good group right there.
This is a good group indeed. So this is the Matt Cannizzaro, I can't say power hour, but 20-minute 20-minute time here to enjoy some action from the left side of the lanes as both Cameron and Spencer, potentially a little bit more power than Mr. Cannizzaro, implementing the two hands, but still navigating the left side from the stadium.
Hey guys, I'm gonna bounce out. I'm gonna go get some vlog footage. I'll see you in a little bit.
All right, Michael.
And I just saw something for the first time that I've never seen before in my life. And that's very rare, as being as old as I am and being around bowling for as long as I've been. I just saw Norm Duke unintentionally pick off the 6-9-10 on a strike attempt.
Well, we have talked about the outside portion of the lane not potentially not being too friendly. We saw Wes Malott earlier take out just the 6-9. So, but
it's
yes.
one thing for Wes Malott. I mean, Wes Malott's a great player and obviously U.S. Open champion, so an excellent shot maker to pick off the 6-9. But it's another thing entirely for Norm Duke to pick off the 6-9-10.
Well, I think over the years we've seen Norm do some pretty amazing things and surprising things. Going back to the Senior Masters, whether it be a 4 count to lose the title, and Aaron still can't watch that video, I don't think, and and then another year watching him shoot 863 with back-to-back 300s to start a 3-game set. So some amazing moments from that young man over the years.
He bowled one of the most amazing matches I've ever seen in my life. It was the Dick Weber playoffs, and I think it was the playoffs. Anyway, it was him versus Parker Bone, and it was a 3-game match. And I believe he shot 840 at Parker. Parker shot 780 and lost by 60. And we went out and looked at the lane after he had shot the 840. And there was a little strip about this wide on the lane where he was playing. Because you could, nobody had bowled on that lane, on that side of the lane, because Parker was on the left, obviously, and it was a fresh pair. And it was a little strip about this wide. And it was an unbelievable performance. I just couldn't believe what I saw. And, to watch, most people when they shoot 840 have a lot of room to play with, right? And Norm might have, but he never used it.
I think the cool thing about Norm Duke is that we can all speak to stories of this, just of being in those moments where you're like, holy cow, what did he just do? Matt referenced his run at the Senior Masters in 2019 when he went back-to-back 300s to start a match. And I don't believe I was very calm on the air while we were, as we were watching that progress before he finally missed. But But JT, I think you'll remember this one, the 2017 U.S. Open in, I believe, technically Liverpool, New York, but Syracuse area. When he had just one of those blocks where we thought nobody would have a block like anywhere approaching, like, I forgot what I think he went like 300 over or 400 over.
It was like 370 over.
And it was one of those things where like nobody else was even thinking about shooting 200 over. They were happy with like $150 over, something like that. And he just went absolutely nuts. And it was just one of those things where you just watch it and you're just in awe of everything. And this is my favorite story. You know, I've met Norm a handful of times, but you know, we're not necessarily on PBA stops very often, and I look like a normal guy, so I can get lost in the crowd, so that's fine. So after he had that monster block, you and I had to do our video interview with Norm to just talk about it. And I went to go find him. You were sitting up on the very high end of the house, and I finally found him. He had come back from the paddock that was outside. That was a whole crazy situation in itself. I'm sure you remember that. But like I had to get in line because there's a line of people waiting for autographs for him. So I just shuffled into line because there are like 3 or 4 kids ahead of me. I'm like, I'm not going to cut off the kids. That'd be rude. So I like got in line, got up, they got their autographs, and he's like ready to sign something. I'm like, oh, Norm, no, I don't need an autograph. Jason and I are down here. Once you're done here, maybe just sign the shirt or something like that. But it was just so cool. And then he came over there, and it was one of my favorite interviews of all time. It was so awesome to hear him talk about that and just putting up a block like that at the U.S. Open when they were borderline impossible, and he averages nearly 250. It was crazy. Yeah. But those are the moments that just make you smile when Norm is around and doing Norm things.
Yeah, that was great. I remember it very well myself, and I remember the way he was bowling that last block. It was almost like he was shooting a 10-pin. That's what it looked like. That's how he was playing the lanes, and he averaged almost 250 for 8, throwing a knuckleball from 5th arrow. It was unbelievable.
So folks, once again, Norm available on the 45 through 48. I believe that was the channel.
Correct. He's on 47 and 8 right now. Yes.
On BowlTV.com. Once again, if you're watching on a desktop or a laptop, you can go below the video to find the channel navigation. If you're on a mobile device, it's in the top right-hand corner. The little 4-box window pane will get you to all the channels available. Once again, only on BowlTV.com. So if you're on YouTube or Facebook, you can head over to BowlTV.com, get that set up. We talked about the excitement of wanting to be on this pair for a little bit. Spencer's already bringing the heat with the pants, so gotta love that. But him and Cameron Crowe, 2 electric young players. As we mentioned earlier, Cameron at St. Ambrose University, I believe, sophomore year this year, and I believe Spencer is recently signed to Wichita State.
Yes.
And so he's going to be upcoming as a collegiate player here very shortly as well. So definitely excited to see the future of the sport right here. 2 great competitors. Talking about favorite matches, it's crazy how much we've gotten to see these players compete over the years. Cameron's performance to win the U.S. Amateur in 2020 in the title match against Solomon Salama, just the energy in the room when he was doing that was something special. He shot a massive game. He shot 269. He was just in the zone. Everything was rolling, but just the energy to the chills, just the excitement of that moment was one thing where that was definitely an interesting day. Matt knows well about that day for a long day at Gold Coast for that particular one. But yeah, that was a memory that will stick for me with a long time. And then obviously getting to see him have success there and see it translate on the collegiate side as well has been very, very fun to watch. And St. Ambrose, Cameron might be bowling when we're doing the sectional assignment show. So someone might have to go let him know if he's going to be in Dallas or Dayton, or I'm trying to think of all the spots. Addison. Where am I missing? I'm missing Smyrna. So someone might have to tell him right then and there. He might be getting texts about that then. But yeah, it's going to be exciting to see him and his team. St. Ambrose, very talented bunch. A lot of great players on that crew. So very excited to see what they have in store for college bowling coming up in here just in the next couple of weeks.
Well, now, Aaron, as an up-and-comer for Cammy Crow, you mentioned he was a freshman last year. He won the team trials to start off 2020. Really, things were on the way up for the youngster, better than that shot right there. But, the momentum that he had going into sectionals and what could have been a national championship run, for all that to come down, his freshman year ended early and never got a chance to experience Team USA camp and junior Team USA camp, and really those opportunities I think would have helped develop his game even more than it quickly has already. But he was very motivated coming into 2021. The possibility of the team trials and getting to defend the U.S. amateur title, of course, that didn't happen either. So all of these things just kind of waiting in limbo. These experiences that he is owed, finally, hopefully happening for him here in 2021. Again, with the sectionals and ITCs and ISCs coming up here at the Masters, and then some Team USA camps on the horizon, hopefully as well, being able to take advantage of that success and grow as a player.
So we take a look at Rocio here. Just a reminder, folks, we talked about subscriptions for bowltv.com. And if you want to see Rocio, we mentioned the other PWBA players in the field as well. Looking ahead, we're just a couple weeks away from the tour kickstarting again. April 22nd to the 24th, the PWBA Twin Cities Open will be back, the fourth overall event of 2021. 20 events total for the year. So an expanded tour here. And it's JT, I know you're excited about it. I'm excited about it. I'm sure Rocio is excited about it because she's won there at Cedarville Lanes back in 2018. So it's going to be an exciting time on Bowl TV coming up, not only this week, next week for the U.S. Open as well, but PWBA Tour going to be back in the swing of things in just a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it is exciting, and it's exciting that we're going to be going to all the centers where we originally had planned to go. So we get to go to all these cities that we've been to in the past for the most part. Unfortunately, for the first few, we won't be able to have fans, which is a shame. But we're excited to go back to the cities and to have the events in the centers where they were meant to be played. So I know the players are excited about that too, because the different characteristics of the bowling centers make it a lot more fun for the players to compete. So we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a great season. The only way to watch it from start to finish is right here on Bowl TV. So as Aaron said, be sure to get your subscription. And the thing that's going to be great is it's back to the tour. So we've got event after event after event after event.
And that was one thing we talked about with Danielle McEwen when she stopped by after she finished up A squad practice. Is that and Danielle's out there every week. She bowled the World Series of Bowling. She's bowling both events this week and next week, I guess. But a lot of great opportunities for these competitors as a nice little warm up heading into the coming events, getting back into essentially getting used to bowling a bunch of games like you do on tour. That's what we do. We bowl a bunch of games in 2 days, and at the end we have a cool stepladder final, and we get to crown champions and award Player of the Year, and it's so cool. So. I'm glad to see a few players out there. We've seen players have success at the Masters before. We talked about a little bit earlier, Missy Parkin finishing tied for 9th in 2012, a year after she won the Queens in 2011. So once again, just it's great to see that. And of course, PWBA, it's back. We had 3 great events already. Looking forward to the rest of the season.
Well, it's interesting. I don't know if Stu Williams is going to alter his opinion about how well the players are able to hit, but it certainly seems like they're struggling a lot more on this practice session than we saw the last one. I don't think I've ever seen Norm Duke struggle this much on anything.
So you're saying we should take Mike Flanagan's recommendation with a grain of salt?
I mean, he's he's trying everything. He's playing way to the right and throwing a knuckleball. He's kind of playing, in between zone 1 and 2 and trying to feather it. He's playing, at the left edge of zone 2, trying to hit it a little bit, and it all looks really bad.
Right now he's just trying to hustle the new kids a little bit, but he knows, and I know, and Aaron knows, and Flanagan knows that Norm's going to play every part of the lane at some point during this event and do it well. And now he's maybe just playing games with some of the youngsters,
with the kids,
setting up those side bets and such, what have you.
Let's take a look here for the final 5 minutes, just announced by Damon Sirocco.
That's about as close as he's been in the last 15 minutes.
Now he's guaranteeing 200 over first block.
Of course. But no, I mean, yeah, he's certainly, to Irish Pogie's point, he's checking to see what's out there. But none of it's looked very promising.
Taking a look at another left-hander here, Packy Hanrahan. He's had some success recently on tour.
He's been playing a very interesting line. He's been trying to play the edge and get it there really quick with urethane. And he's had a decent look, but he's also thrown a lot of zeros.
I don't know how many times, we'll go to practice and for it to be the same during competition, whether it's just because it's different or because we're different. I'd rather have no look on practice day, I think, than have false confidence leaving the building. I don't know. I have had a great look and then come back with nothing the next day too. So hopefully maybe for Norm and such, it works both ways.
Yeah, and to my point, Norm's hit the pocket the last 2 shots. As soon as I, say, but I do think that's the first 2 times he's hit the pocket in all the, 15 or so minutes I've been watching him practice. And again, going back to Irish Pogie's point, I do agree. Like he will look around to see if there's anything good out there, and if there's not, he's still one of the best at just grinding out. He's hit the pocket the last 3 shots now. He's still the best, one of the best at just flat out grinding when he knows there's nothing out there to find.
And here's the interesting thing I've kind of noticed in the past few shots, and maybe it's and JT, you've been watching it more than we have since we were on a different pair, but it seems like he wants to make something kind of work out there. I've seen a lot of different bowling balls in his hands in just the past few shots that we've watched. So, from that tells me that he sees something that he might like in that part of the lane, but what's going to be the right ball for it? That's kind of what I'm taking away from it. Because you haven't seen too much, at least in these past 5-6 shots, the line has stayed the same, but it seems like a different ball every shot.
Yeah, and Norm is certainly every bowler, you want to find something that nobody else has, right? I mean, if you have that, you're going to win. And we've seen Norm, win on the shark pattern playing out, where nobody even tries to play out there. Or playing up 2 or 3 on the scorpion or the chameleon pattern where, you normally that just wouldn't be where you would play. So, yeah, part of what he's doing here is he's fishing around trying to find something maybe nobody else will have. But once he decides what he's going to do, he will not get 3 off the right.
Looks like lane 47 back up and running. As they finish this section up, once again, we have just one more 20-minute session to go here for our C Squad competitors before we start it all up again tomorrow, and it's competition time. It's all for real. There we go. Get that 10 out, Normie.
Yeah, he's certainly looks a little bit more comfortable now.
Competitors, please hold up on your practice.
And it looks like he's starting to commit to something.
You can have everyone hold up on practice and head to your next set of lanes. Keep in mind, this will be round.
Final look from Packy. It sounds like our there's Dallas Young as well.
Please move to your next set of lanes. Thank you.
Announcements sound like it's time to move. Correct,
We're going to
JT?
get one more shot here from Norm, but yeah, after Norm throws this shot, they will be moving.
No more deliveries if we can have everyone hold up on the practice and head to your next set of lanes. Keep in mind, this will be round.
Yeah, it looked pretty nice the last 6 or 7 shots ever since I opened my big mouth.
See, you said he looked rough. I doubted Flanagan's pick. And now here we are. So we got to bring Mike back in after that.
What have you guys been doing here? You've been picking on Norm?
Well, JT had mentioned he had been struggling. So we went over it for the last 5 minutes, and then he basically didn't miss the pocket. And all of a sudden, he looks like he's going to run over the field again by 200 points. So
He was just messing around. He was getting a feel for what was going on out there. If you watch Norm, he's got that touch, and he's using a reactive asymmetrical ball with a big core, and he's just piping it right at the pocket. I mean, it's ridiculous how good it looks. And then he tried a couple shots where he tried to give it a little touch, a little left to right, just a slight belly, and they were just duck hooking through the face multiple times over. Then he just moved back to the right and put his hand up the back of it and back striking. So I just don't know if he's 100%. That's the thing. Is Norm? Like if he's locked in and focused, man, look out. I mean, he's kind of got that look in his eye too. He looks, I don't know. He almost looks pissed. He almost looks mad. Like this is my tournament to win. I don't know. Just a look.
Norm is one of our past champions here in the field this week, won in 1993. Also in the field, who has our players who have found a way to win: Sean Rash in 2007, Anthony Simonson in 2016, and he was not born yet when Norm Duke won the Masters in 1993. As Simonson won that at I believe 19 years, 39 days. Matt, does that sound about right?
It does sound about right.
Jason Belmonte, who's won it 4 times, the record, Andrew Anderson, and our defending champion, Jacob Buttriff. Those are our past Masters champions in the field. So we're when we look at that experience of it, we don't necessarily have some of the tournaments we go to. We have, when we look at the majors and the folks who have won it, we got quite a few folks who have found the success, gotten to the end, gotten the win. Only 6 players in the field this week who have successfully won in this event, which is it seems like a little bit of a low number for me, but we'll see how that experience comes through over the course of these next couple days.
Hey, JT.
Yes.
Who you think's going to finish higher, Duke or Barnes this week?
Oh, man. Wow.
I know who you're taking. You got to take your man, right?
Well, boy, after how bad Norm just made me look, I don't know if I want to bet against him.
Well, how about just you and me, commentator bet for nothing, basically. You and me. I got Norm, you got Barnes, and we'll keep the viewers updated all week.
Come on, Chris. I'll give you a share of whatever Mike's offering.
Well, I just hope it gets back to these guys at some point, because I like both those players. If they're fired up and they get called out, it's going to enhance their shot making by about 8%.
I am going to take Barnes with full 100% confidence that Barnes is going to finish higher than Norm.
Now here's what would be amazing, JT. This is where we can earn the wheat here. What if we come down to Sunday on FS1 and our title match, a battle of the Titans, Norm Duke versus Chris Barnes. You and I, we're gonna buy the most expensive bottle of wine and sit on the approach a couple lanes over and drink it during the final match. And we'll go live on Bull TV, just me and you on like a cell phone.
I would, except for we have to do a PTQ a couple hours later. For the US Open.
All right, Welch's Sparkling Grape
There you
Juice.
go.
Ooh,
There you go. There you go.
the kids today don't know about Welch's.
No, that's fun. I like doing that stuff, guys. I think that's fun. I think because I want to know from all the people watching right now, type into the chat who you think's going to have a better week, Norm Duke or Chris Barnes. And if you got any other good matchups for us to debate, throw it in there.
Well, right now I'm going to make a camera change here. It looks like on 57 and 58 we have AJ Johnson and Jason Belmonte, who has won this event 4 times. So let's go see what they're doing over there on 57-58.
It's a good idea, Aaron. That's a good idea. That's why you get paid the big bucks.
Every once in a while, one pops up.
Belmo was using urethane on the left end down here, and he was playing way out. So look what he's doing now.
I'd be curious. It's one of those things where it now seems so far away. But if you guys remember in 2019, Belmo had that cut on his, I forget which finger, but one of the 2 fingers he uses to throw the ball. And he ended up, he had a rough 2019 performance. He never really got the feel. He made a little bit of a run during the second block, but ultimately did not make it into the top 64. So, for someone who's had so much success, that's obviously not the way you want to have one of the biggest tournaments of the year go for you. Have it kind of dwindle from an injury. But I'm curious how much that potentially is sitting back there, knowing that the last time he bowled this event, he could not compete at 100%.
Well, if we talked about Belmo a little bit on the last during the last practice session, and he's kind of coming in here playing possum. He basically said in the interview I did with him that he's given up on this year as far as Player of the Year is concerned, and I'll tell you that makes him a dangerous bet. I just would not be surprised to see him come out victorious this week.
So you mentioned AJ Johnson also on the pair. Andrew Hall, whose father Bruce, a friend of Bull TV, who's spent some time on the broadcast with us in the past. Also a pretty solid competitor himself from the Northeast. Works very closely with the NEBA organization, doing some live streaming of his own. So hopefully Bruce potentially watching right now. So hello, Bruce. We miss you, buddy. Andrew had a pretty solid collegiate career as well. Some time at Arizona State and at St. John's as well after that. But I want to give a shout out to Jeff Poston, who's also on our featured pair. Jeff not only competing this week, but he is also the head coach of the from Kansas, from Ottawa University. So in between the excitement of they just competed for the NAIA National Championship a few days ago, come out here, and he's going to be heading straight from that basically to sectionals with his team. So big shout out to Coach there for all the work he's doing just for the sport, helping build it on the collegiate level as well. So shout out to Jeff for the hard work.
Guys, I'm fascinated with Belmo using this surface in the middle of the lane, just striking like crazy.
Yeah, we really haven't seen anybody do that.
No, that's at least a double.
I mean, well, he's going to strike on the next one too because we're ahead. So I'll just spoil it for you. But yeah, it's we haven't seen anybody that far left just striking at will.
Yeah, and the question is, you guys ever hear about these theories where like single guys try to pick up girls. So they wear like shirts with sayings on them to like make the girl think that that's what it is on the shirt and that's what the guy is. So if it says like I'm attractive, then the girl looks at him and says, "Oh, he is attractive," right? Well, what I'm getting at here is Belmo's wearing a strike on his shirt. So do you think that the X on his shirt is helping him strike? And will all of his jerseys this week have strikes on them? And if that works, will other players start to begin to put strikes on their shirts? Your thoughts, please.
I'll tackle this one first. I like this as we get to see that Belmo strike that JT promised us. I feel it's a tactical advantage, Michael. Not only is it's not a little X. Sometimes you see people with the Pro Shop logos or something like that. This is a massive X on the shirt. This is an authoritative X. That is the X of a man who has won this event 4 times, and it's red. He's already pulling out the Tiger Red.
It's almost
it's Monday.
It's almost like suspenders crossing as well. Yeah.
It's a power shirt. It doesn't
Cannizzaro at your Open Championships. Yeah, Matt. Hey, I think you should encourage all the teams that bowl the national your event, the Open Championships, to get team jerseys with strikes on them.
Well, that's definitely far better than some of the jerseys that do show up. So much more appropriate as well. So I'm all for it. And the red strikes at the stadium.
Do you still get a pin?
Of course. The Pride Award. It's one of the most important things. You actually bowl better. It's been proven statistically. You bowl better when you're out there feeling like you look and feel your best as a team.
Yeah, Snipe Gamer had a good question in the chat. What ball is Belmo using? The answer is every ball in his bag he's striking with, except for that last shot, which he threw urethane. So, yeah, he's striking with anything he wants to strike with.
That is a good problem to have. And JT, you mentioned, it seems like he's doing something we really haven't seen other players do so far, is getting this left. And I know you've shared some stories with me over the years when there's just been moments where he's just done that. And it's when you tell those stories, I can tell the bowling fan in you how much you enjoy seeing what he's able to do. Of course, as he goes straight up the lane there and strikes, but talk about when Belmo does those things that only Belmo seems to be able to do.
Well, he thinks differently than the other players. When we did Journey to 900 with Belmo, he basically said we gave him practice time right before we started, and so he got lined up from 3 completely different angles, and he said, after game 1, I'm going to move to this 2nd place, and then after game 2, I'm going to move to this 3rd place. I don't care if I'm striking or not striking. I'm just going to do that because I won't shoot 900 if I move incrementally. And so nobody thinks like that. And so you watch him bowl these matches and you watch him throw the ball all over the place. Usually when you bowl these matches in the Masters, you decide where you're going to start and you're going to carve the pattern. And sometimes the player you're bowling does the same thing and you guys both make them easy. And that's why you get a high scoring match. And sometimes they don't cooperate with each other and they make them nasty for one another. And that's why you have the low scoring matches. Belmo doesn't do any of it. He just throws the ball where he feels like throwing it just to get a feel for what the lane's doing in different parts of the lane. And then you have no idea what he's going to do. And then he just plays where he wants to play when the match starts. And he's won so many matches where what he decided he wanted to do at the beginning didn't work. And then he makes this giant move in the middle of the match and then starts striking. And then part of it is, he starts striking. But the other part is the opponent goes, uh-oh, he's striking now. What do I do? Oh, my gosh, it's Belmo. And he's won so many matches that way. But he just thinks differently than the other players. And this is why he's great. It's not because he throws it with 2 hands or he has a lot of power. he is a great bowler, and he's got the best imagination on tour. Simonson's starting to approach that level, because he does amazing things too, where you just go, how did he think of that move? And then he makes the move and he throws like the next 8 in a row. It's like he doesn't miss a beat. And so, that's what makes him so great. That's, he's showing it right now. He's just playing all over the lane and striking at will, no matter what he does. He's 7-10s there, but he still hit the pocket. But he's a great bowler. That's why he's great.
Great stuff there, JT. Love the rundown, love the breakdown. And folks, we're hoping you run over to bowltv.com, because this is going to be the warning for you. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, we will be starting that giveaway for the Amazon Echo Dot in just a couple minutes. So if you're on bowltv.com already, you got your login, you're all set. Just hang out for a couple more minutes. It'll be the opportunity to win that prize. Another Mike Flanagan sighting here on the screen. But once again, that's only available on bowltv.com. Take a minute or two, set up a login so you have it, and you're set to go. And then the next step after that is subscribe. You don't have to do that tonight, though. Starting tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, with the first block of qualified, it will require a subscription. But head over to bowltv.com, create your login if you haven't done it already. In a couple minutes, we're going to give away an Amazon Echo Dot, just for hanging out with us. So, folks, that's your warning. We're going to give this away in a couple minutes as we get toward the end of our final block here. Block of practice. It's not. I guess that's not a real block, or does that play? A practice block.
All right, in this block, everybody's a winner. So we got they're all top qualifiers. So that's, for some, it's huge for confidence.
I think AJ Johnson. Obviously, we've talked about it a lot. We've seen him have some success on TV. He's getting closer and closer to that moment to where, I think it's something. I'd be curious to hear his thoughts on it at some point. But I think the tag of being the best player on tour without a victory is something AJ's probably heard quite a bit about. Obviously, we're talking about it right now, but from the progression of his game over the course of the past few years, starting off as a junior gold champion, finding success at McHenry, junior Team USA, a great performance at the World Championships a couple years ago. And he's won overseas, but just not that official PBA Tour title yet. As someone who's had experience at this event and someone who's found his way to the top seed at this event, do you guys feel that when AJ gets that first win underneath his belt, it's just going to be pandemonium and he's going to rattle off like 4 straight wins or something crazy like that?
I'm shocked that he hasn't won a title yet. That's the most surprising thing. One of the most surprising things, one of the most surprising stories, in the world of professional bowling right now is that he hasn't won a title yet. So talented of a player. He's been through, a winner at every level that he's bowled at. He's keeps himself in great shape. He wants it. He's just got everything. And the fact that he hasn't won is just surprising. So yes, I would have to say once he does win and know in his mind that he can do it, that he's going to have many, many titles. But you just say that just by looking at the talent and, how good he's been, how good he is. You would say, well, this guy's going to win more than 10 titles in his career. And the fact that he hasn't won one yet is just shocking to me.
Well, I think JT said it right. It's kind of in his mind a little bit, right? I feel like AJ's always out there looking to prove something to everybody else rather than just go out there and bowling and doing what he's capable of and putting his talent on display and just letting it speak for it. Now, he did have success and did find the winner's circle. It happened to be at a non-title event, so it was a close opportunity there. He had another close call as well. So he proved that he can win. It's just a matter of doing it, obviously in the right events. And once he gets out of his own way, I think that's the biggest thing. And his confidence, especially now signing with Motive last year as he did, has done a lot. He's found a home, I think, and he was bouncing around a little bit from company to company, and just needs to get his head right, get out of his own way, and good things will happen.
Good stuff, everybody. As we welcome Michael Flanagan back from Inside Bowling. This is it. In the next minute, we're going to do this. We're going to do this final giveaway of the day, folks. So if you're already on BowlTV.com, you're in a good spot. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, this is your last opportunity to go to BowlTV.com. Amazon Echo giveaway in approximately 1 minute or so, give or take.
Hey guys, I talked to a couple reps, and there's a lot of reps high on guys like Thomas Larson, Francois Lavoie, and those guys to keep it in front of them. I actually had one of them say, "Hey, look out for Norm Duke this week too." And then we got
Chris
it.
Barnes.
Yeah, and Chris Barnes there. And then so I was talking to him, and then we started discussing with Pete and Walter walking away and retiring. You know, is Norm Duke now the oldest tenured? He's got 40 titles. Like, is he the guy now? Is he the legend?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, of course. Yeah. You know, I had a conversation with Belmo, and we talked. I kind of tricked him into giving me his all-time greatest, and I do feel like he is one of the 5 greatest at this point. And so the way I phrased the question was, you know, if we just had a stepladder finals for the 5 greatest, you have to be in it. So you can't say you're not in it, right? And I do think he thinks he's in it, but he was very gracious. He put himself 5th, but he put Norm on that show with Pete Weber, Walter Ray, and Earl Anthony. And so in my mind, I don't think you can argue with it, but really, I mean, you have to put Pete in there. You have to put Norm, or you have to put Walter in there. You have to put Earl in there. But Norm's the one that you might be able to not put in there. But who would you replace him with? I personally would replace him with Roth if I had to replace him. But he's got 40 titles. He's got, you know, multiple players of the year. So it's very hard to replace him. He probably is the 3rd greatest bowler ever at this point. So yeah, he is the guy at this point representing the legends now that Walter and Pete are gone. But man, I mean, he is he's still competitive. You know, that's the thing that's the most amazing part of the story is, you know, just, you know, the last PBA season that happened, he won 2 titles back to back at the age of 55. So
yeah, that person said to me, JT, that that's the last 2 times on tour you've had to really keep the ball in front of you, and that's what we have here today.
Yeah. So I'll tell you though, watching Belmo practice right now is one of the more impressive things I've seen lately. We've seen people, you know, missing the 3-pin, who normally don't ever miss the pocket. And Belmo has just bowled for about 15 minutes, throwing every ball in his bag from every part of the lane, and I don't think he's missed the pocket yet.
Giveaway has started, folks. Giveaway has started.
Poor Aaron can't even get a word in with us. He's trying to give something away to our loyal fans. And we're up here on this talk show.
Hey, we're giving away knowledge nonstop.
This time practice session is now over.
Just remember, folks, just hit that blue submit entry button. You'll be entered to win.
Will be turning off and cycling off at this time. Just a reminder, new squad times this week, 8 a.m., 1:30, and 7 p.m.
All right, this is we're here at the end, JT. It's been a crazy day.
it's been a cool day.
It has been cool. Yes.
Kicking off 120 hours of coverage coming over the next 2 weeks. The Masters gets underway tomorrow. It really is my favorite event to watch. And I'll tell you why. It's not the U.S. Open. The U.S. Open is a grind. It's the hardest event to win. It's the one everybody in this building wants to win more than anything. But it's not as fun to watch as the Masters. The Masters is the funnest tournament to watch because once we get through this qualifying, anything can happen, and it's a chess game. Every match is a chess game, and in my mind, that's the essence of bowling. Head to head, figure out how to beat the other guy. Scores are all relative, and so many fun and crazy things happen in the Masters. It's just an incredible event to watch.
Absolutely, and congratulations to Rep 2337. Perhaps I didn't catch all the numbers, but congratulations on winning the Amazon Echo Dot. Our marketing team will reach out to you to collect your prize, so be on the lookout for that in the next couple of days, very soon here this week, perhaps. But yes, I think that's the cool thing is that and there are so many matches, and obviously we're going to have a bunch of them on Bowl TV, but getting down to those, kind of sizing up the matches after 2 games, seeing, all right, this is, one of my marquee matches. I had this on my radar. I wanted to watch this one, and it's close. And then you kind of see, and you mentioned the chess match, and I think that part of it is so incredibly interesting just to see how folks are doing things, how folks are, is there a mental edge you can gain? Is there something you can do out there that can, just put you at that advantage? And obviously, when matches get down, when someone's making a comeback, putting together a big score to make a run, trying to make up pins, just all the emotions wrapped up into that are inexplainable. It's just so great when all that comes together, and you essentially get that for 2 straight days before you get to the end of the term at the stepladder finals, which is why it's absolutely so fun to take in.
Yeah, I can't wait to do it. We're here. We're ready. Let's do it.
Well, folks, with that, practice session is over. A, B, and C in the books. Everyone has got to experience this 40-foot condition. JT, I know it's late there. I know the players are moving. Are we going to try and get anyone, or are we just going to go ahead and call it a night here from Reno in Texas?
Yeah, look, let's try to get Jacob Buttriff. He's out of the thing pretty early. We didn't get a chance to catch up with him before just do an open conversation. Let's talk to him and end our night on a great note.
All right, we'll let you run down Mr. Buttriff, and we'll be we'll hang around here for just a little bit. So, Matt, we got a full day in the books here. It's been fun. It's been crazy. It's been laid back. It looks like Jacob maybe is pretty close right now, so we should be good to go here. But just it's been a while since we've got to experience the Masters. I'm excited to see what it's all about. Get that feeling again, just the excitement of everything going on. But just what are you looking forward to the next couple of days?
Well, I think we'll get to ease into it. We certainly had fun today in more of a podcast setting and having some good conversation. And perhaps tomorrow and during qualifying, the folks won't have to look at our faces as much the whole time, but we can watch some bowling and talk about some scores. And it's going to be qualifying, right? It's going to have a certain pace to it, and then we'll get down to the end of it. Then it will get exciting. The number crunching will begin, and then of course when things shift to match play, faster pace and the excitement of those matches, and so it'll take on a whole different feeling. So I think we'll get to experience a variety of emotions over the week, and so far today it's been kind of a reunion for the crew to get back together and see some bowling and some of the players in the stadium and talk history and nostalgia. And tomorrow we'll get down to business a little bit and kind of ease into it over the next couple of days.
Nostalgia is a sentimentality for the pub.
Siri agrees as well.
I caught that. That was good stuff right there. And yeah, tomorrow's going to be, once again, we have 3 blocks, but they're going to be 5-game blocks. There's going to be 4 folks on a pair. So it's going to move pretty quick tomorrow. So, it's one of those things where you essentially got two that 15 games seems like a lot, but it's going to go quick though for these players, especially if you're finding some struggles on the fresh out of the gates. You don't want to certainly put yourself in a big deficit to try and come back and make up a lot of pins. We've heard it from the players, we've heard it from the ball reps that having that big block out here is probably going to be pretty tough. But it's going to be fast paced the next 3 days until we get to that cut line. We get to that top 63 along with Jacob. And then the fun really starts rolling in day number 4. But folks, once again, as we are still waiting, we potentially have a different guest than Jacob coming in. So we will see if we make that happen here in the next couple of minutes. But once again, bowltv.com. We are going to also be simulcasting to Flow Bowling, but come join us, come check us out. Options include you can buy an event pass specifically for the Masters, $8.95. We'll have one a little bit later in the week for the US Open, same price, $8.95. You can buy them both to watch them both live, $14.95. Monthly recurring subscription for $9.95. That gives you access to the whole site, so the archived events, all the other channels that are available, the backstage channel, the lab, the vault, so some coaching, some history, a little bit of everything. And if you're looking long term, $79.95 for the annual subscription. And if we're looking right now, that's covering the rest of the PWBA Tour season. We got collegiate, we still got sectionals and ITC coming up and moving into the following season later this fall. Top tier senior events, senior masters, super senior classic, senior queens again next year. Youth events, junior gold championships coming up soon in July. Always a great event. Bowlers Journal Team Championship Series, a new event coming this fall. So there's so much to look forward to. All of a sudden it's team trials again and we're back. It's a brand new year. It's 2022, but you still got that subscription. So please check that out. Right now you can find that by going to Join Bowl TV. But after we wrap things up here, we will, it'll be that way on every page, so you'll be able to access it from anywhere on bowltv.com, anywhere you go. If you're not subscribed, it will ask you to do so. So just a heads up, all those prices do include a transaction fee, just as a heads up for everybody. But that's where you're going to get the best bowlers in the world over the course of not only the next 2 weeks, but throughout the entire year. Is going to be right here on Bowl TV. So we certainly appreciate you, everyone spending some time with us, checking things out. We are still waiting to see if we're going to get a guest in here. Patiently. Oh, all right. We're in business here, folks. Matt, I'll let you do this introduction right here.
All right. Coming on in, 4-time USBC Masters champ from Down Under, Jason Belmonte. Welcome back to Bowl TV, and good to see you. Looks like things were going pretty well for you out there in the practice session. Jason Thomas, very impressed with what he was seeing. Tell us about what was happening.
No, I'm just kidding, boys. I can actually talk. I just wanted to see everybody in the comments go, hey, we can't hear him.
That worked way too well. My goodness.
No, I mean, look, they're brutal. They're not easy. They're pretty touchy down lane. But I think everyone that walked into this building today expected it to be like that. It's been just for the last 10 years that I've bowled, 12 years that I bowled the Masters. It's always been pretty tricky down lane. So, I mean, it was nice to kind of find a couple of different looks that I think, you can maybe get away with, but there isn't an abundance of options. You've kind of got to find something that looks decent and then just really execute and take advantage of that little window you might have.
Now, coming to this event specifically, we're going to see a lot of fresh. And so a different strategy perhaps than in past years and different moves around the venue. How does that affect the game plan? Do you prefer the fresh over seeing some burn and being able to move around a little bit, or what's the thoughts there?
Yeah, I think for myself personally, statistically, on a burn squad, I typically have the highest games of a tournament, but I can also bowl my lowest games of a tournament, and usually that's because once you get to a point in the lane where you might have moved quite a long way left, if it's really tricky down lane and you're so far left, you can create a lot of weird stuff. You could leave a lot of weird stuff. But conversely, if the pair seems to be pretty nice and you're a long way left, you can get a really good angle of entry into the pocket. So it's, to answer your question, do I prefer the fresh or the carry down or the berm? I think the fresh, I'm probably a lot more consistent between 190 and 220, 230. But and I might limit myself for the lower games, but I'm really not feeling like in this particular tournament anyway, there's a 270 straight out of the gate. Not for me anyway. And looking left or right, I didn't really see 270 out of anyone else either.
Now, Jason, last time we held this event in 2019, you came into that event. Unfortunately, you were facing an injury and did not get to compete the way, we're used to seeing from you and fighting through that. What's it like to be back in 2021 and, knowing you're coming in at full strength?
Yeah, I feel really good. I feel really relaxed. I've had a bit of time off. I've had the opportunity to practice and really work on my game this season because I haven't gone home. It's been a long stint over here, and there's been a few periods of time where I've had quite a few days off in a row. So I've really been able to, just kind of iron out a few things in my game that perhaps if I was flying over here after the long haul, probably could affect you, especially in such a demanding pattern. So I feel great. I'm excited to actually compete, without a finger that's kind of like nearly fallen off. So I'm really looking forward to it. I love this tournament. Not just because I've had a lot of success here. I just like the way that the tournament is built from beginning to end. It's this massive grind through the qualifying section. You're just trying to get into that 64, and then it's match play. And, some pairs you're grinding out wins on 550, and in others you're in a strike fest and it's, 750 and you can lose. And I don't know. This tournament, it really is a special one. So I'm hoping that I can get a 5th trophy of them because they're actually pretty cool trophies. So, having another one would be really cool.
Definitely cannot argue that, but we'll go ahead and let you rest up for the night. We look forward to seeing you compete throughout the weekend, of course, at the U.S. Open as well. You're the defending champion there. But thanks again for stopping by, swinging by Bowl TV with us here, and best of luck throughout the course of the week.
Yeah, cheers, boys. I appreciate it. Cheers, everyone at home. Have a good one. Yeah, peace.
All right, you
Thanks,
too.
Jason.
All right, Matt, that is going to wrap things up today. And what a better way to do it than talking to the 4-time Masters champion, Belmo, Jason Belmonte. So, folks, once again, just a big thank you to all the folks on site, the USBC staff, the NBS staff, keeping everybody safe out there. A lot of hard work making this event happen. So much appreciation to all those folks. And we could spend all time naming them, but they know who they are. They're putting in the long hours, the long effort. So we appreciate that. For our staff here on the Bowl TV side, we got folks working here. We got folks working on site. So just a big shout out to the whole crew for making today happen. Giveaways and more. We did a lot of cool stuff. But for Jason Thomas, for Michael Flanagan, Matt Cannizzaro, I'm Aaron Smith, folks. Thank you again for joining us here for these live look-ins from the practice session at the 2021 USBC Masters from the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. We'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. That is going to be 8 local time in Reno for a squat qualifying run number 1 here at the Masters. You will need a subscription, so hit that Join Bowl TV button. Get signed up, get set for the week. So, folks, have a great evening. Thank you so much for joining us here. We'll see you tomorrow for another nice long day of coverage here on Bowl TV from the Masters. And remember, folks, on Bowl TV, bowling lives here. Have a great night.